Hi guys, my name is Sebastian and welcome to my full review of the Cybershot DSC-HX50 from Sony. So to get started, we'll see the camera body right there. Now Sony builds a 20 megapixel sensor into this pretty tiny camera, which is very impressive, but even more so is the 30 times optical zoom that we'll find on this lens. And I have to say, I owned a Sony compact camera before, the HX50, which was around 1 or 2 years ago, and that was really impressive in terms of picture quality but also in terms of zoom, and this HX50 is no exception. It actually raised my standards and my expectations, so it's a great camera. Now the build quality as well as also the attention to detail on this camera is pretty amazing. We'll find this leather-like grip here on the front of the camera, as well as some of this leather grip on the back as well, so this is a perfect place to rest your thumb and then just grip and hold on to the camera. So I had no problems at all, and it was a very pleasant experience overall, and I can only say the best things about it. Now if we take a look at the top of the camera, we'll find the hot shoe right here, as well as dual microphones left and right to it. Also here button to release the flash, and we see the pop-up flash right there, which looks a little bit silly, but it does the job just fine. And then we have the mode dial here to the right, and you can choose from a lot or wide variety of different modes, of course manual or scene mode. Now I have to say that most of the time I was just completely satisfied with using the automatic mode. Of course, for advanced photographers the manual mode will be of more interest. Also we'll have the shutter button here on the top, as well as the zoom control, which worked very well. Also we have the on and off switch right here, which is kind of embedded into the material, so you don't really accidentally press it if you don't want to. And then we'll find a 3-inch LCD on the back. Now this is not a touchscreen, so we'll see a touchscreen on a lot of cameras these days, especially compact cameras. Sony decided to not include a touchscreen on this camera, but overall the menus work very well, so it's not really a big issue. Now if we turn on the camera itself, then we already see how the lens comes out of the housing, and then if we really go into the 30 times optical zoom, you just see how massive this lens is that's incorporated into this small body. On the right side of the camera behind the flap, we'll find the micro USB port, which is used for charging and also of course for transferring pictures. Then on the bottom of the camera we'll see that we have of course the tripod mount, as well as the micro HDMI, so that you can hook it up to your TV for example, and then also here this door. And then we see that this houses the battery as well as the SD card. Now fortunately you can use regular SD cards, you don't have to use micro SD cards for instance. And if we take out the battery for a second, then you can see that this has 1240 milliamp hours. Now the only real criticism I have about this camera is this flap that covers, or this door that covers the battery and SD card compartment. You can't just close it and then it's locked. You actually have to move this little lock in order to really close the door. And I kind of just wish that this was kind of like automatic, so that it just snaps into place again, because this is a little bit fiddly and just annoying. Now one really nice feature that I failed to mention is that Sony has built in Wi-Fi into this camera. So this not only allows you to actually view, download and then share the images to, for example, Twitter or Facebook, but also to actually control the camera, so you can basically use your smartphone as the viewfinder, which is pretty amazing. The app is available for iOS and Android and worked really well on my Galaxy S4. Now of course, as with any camera, the picture and video quality is the most important thing, and I have to say, even though my expectations were high, this camera blew me out of the water. I think it has amazing picture quality also in difficult settings, so for example in sunrise, where it's still dark outside, it captured a lot of detail. So also fog was really easy to capture with this camera, and overall the zoom is just really impressive. I took a picture of the moon, I think with 10 times optical zoom, and then again the same picture with 30 times, and the result that I got out of this camera was pretty impressive. Even at this 30 times optical zoom, the picture was still very sharp and full of details. Besides that, of course, also videos with full HD benefit from this large zoom range, so you can really zoom in on your objects. And so overall I think this is the perfect camera to carry around, but also to have the ability to zoom in on an object that's further away. So maybe if you're going to the zoo and really want to shoot an animal that's far away, this is your perfect bet, and you don't have the bulk of, for example, a DSLR or even a bridge camera. And this also wraps up my review of the HX50. Again, I'm very impressed by this camera and I can highly recommend it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe as well as like this video. Thanks again, see you next time.